Welcome back to Brick System Brothers. I'm Nathan Masters, and I'm going to be talking about 30370 Ocean Diver. This is a polybag from 2020, the city diving sub-theme. So this run had a couple big sets, a couple small sets. Would have liked to see a few more in the $10 range, but this polybag is pretty good to pick up for $5 at Walmart. Still a little much for 22 pieces, but we do have a very nice stingray in here. So let's get this opened up and check out what we can find. So polybags, pretty popular. It's a good way to get some of, very small minifigs or some small animals from a theme if you don't want to really invest in the larger sets from the theme. And sometimes there's some interesting parts to pick up as well. I did want to note before I get rid of the package, this is kind of co-branded with National Geographic. We saw this on the other city diving sets as well as some Friends sets from 2020. So kind of interesting there with the co-branding. So what do we've got for parts in here? Like the bag says, there's 22 pieces. Actually, I count my minifigs a little different. Lego counts this as one piece because it comes pre-assembled, but I actually count this as 5 because you can break it down into 2 hands, 2 arms, and a torso. So if we count it my way, we get an additional 6 from the minifig, and I think unless there's any extra, that's all. So instead of 22, it would be 28 pieces. We'll put our fins on here. So the red and the dark blue color combinations for this theme is pretty nice for diving, but what I really like is our new updated helmet mold with the lights on the top, and that clear blue kind of glass effect for the goggles and the face mask is all molded in. So this is a dual molded element. In fact, unless these are printed, but those are transparent blue as well. So 2 different kinds of plastic here. I was gonna say this would be one of the first triple molded elements I've seen. I can't recall anything specifically that would use 3 colors of plastic all in the same mold, but I'm pretty sure that these lights are the same plastic as the face glass there. So dual molded helmet for our minifig, and you get those in quite a few sets across the range. To date, I was also able to find this helmet on Bricks and Pieces on the Lego site, but you'll pay a pretty penny on that ordering page if you do go buy individual pieces. I feel like the polybag is a good way to get, like I mentioned, the minifig at least. So I feel like there's enough here to justify a $5 spend. Take a nice look at this stingray as well, and then I'll go ahead and build up the model. But the stingray here, we have an attachment of 1x2 studs on the bottom, and then kind of falls away to form the rest of the element. I think the wings out here don't really fit any certain dimension, but I could grab a plate real quick and check that. So if we attach the stingray to a plate, maybe I'll attach it this way, and count some studs here. If you start on this one, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we do have a 7 stud wide element now, the stingray, and again it comes to an odd number because this is 1 stud wide and it's centered on the creature. So in that case, unless you go out to half a stud, kind of floating in between somewhere, you would get an even length. But as it stands, we have that very nice tolerance within the Lego system where things usually fit pretty well together across different pieces. So yeah, a 7 wide stingray, and how long is this guy? Attach it up at the top again. There it is. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 7 by 9 studs for the stingray. That's how big of a tank you're going to need to build if you want to have some kind of aquarium for this guy. Colors here are a dark tan base, and I think this is medium blue printing, as well as some black printing for the eyes. And there are 2 studs on the top as well if you want to build some kind of robotic attachment. Usually Lego puts a couple studs on top of their creatures just to have some additional functionality within the system. Let me build this thing up real quick. So say hello to the 4 submodels of the polybag. Of course, we've got our diver, which I had forgotten to put on the white air tanks, so now he is complete. The next thing you build is the little sub-scooter, so pretty simple build here with the black Technic rim, just providing some detail for Not a propeller in this case, because we don't want to chop up this guy's legs, so maybe some kind of water jet. And there's handles here for him to hold on to. He scoots around the ocean floor. So just stick him on here real quick. And, you know, if you actually want to move here, you probably got to get your feet up out of the way. So maybe with the flippers angled, you know, you could actually use the flippers to steer around. Yeah, I bet that's how it works. Okay, so there's the first two submodels. The Stingray, I guess, is not a sub model, it's one piece, but he's in there. And then the last thing you build is the little rocky coral piece for the ocean floor. The piece of interest here, if you're not a fan of coral, is the 1x2 pearl gold tile. So not a really rare piece, it's kind of common across multiple themes, but it is nice to get something, at least for the diver, to find interest in and try to recover. I'm more excited about the coral element, actually, because this color has only been around for a couple years, and then this element, the mold here that represents coral, has been around for even less time than that. So it's kind of the match made in heaven here with the coral element, and this color is actually like coral pink, I believe. So the color really specifically designed for this kind of thing, although it works across, you know, a lot of other themes and ranges to provide an accent. But here we get this piece molded entirely in our coral pink. Vibrant pink is another name for it. And there's some interesting attachments here. Actually, go read the New Elementary article about this piece, because there's actually a couple ways to tessellate, I think, with this one, just in terms of putting the peg in the hole and then aligning that to different angles and degrees and getting all that lined up mathematically. Since there's a recessed stud in the top, you can stack these. So if you have more than one, this peg in here can go up in the top, and you can just stack those all the way up. Of course, since we have those in the face as well, you can build them right out of the face. So a very versatile element in terms of what it can do in the system. Now, we could start talking about, you know, are there too many specific Lego pieces nowadays where they have all these new molds? Why can't we just build coral out of the good old elements that we're used to? You know, there's plenty of plant pieces. They could have just made a plant piece in this color and called it good. But, you know, that's something that Lego's coming back to now. They're working on adding more unique elements to their lineup and to their sets, just bringing a lot more detail where otherwise you couldn't. And with this piece, we actually had a Friends underwater theme as well. So that was used extensively in the Friends line in teal. So we now have this in at least two colors, possibly more. Again, I'd like to see these pieces in a lot of different colors. I think white would be a good one. And who's to say this is limited to building coral? You know, you could build some kind of futuristic structure. It's a very architectural piecey thingy. So more colors means more options and more ways to build with this piece. It's not just coral, guys. It's Lego, and Lego can be combined in many, many ways. The rest of the pieces in here are pretty common. Dark tan base, some slopes, dark bluish gray. The 2x2 round with a stud in it. Kind of nice. But it's a polybag, so you're spending $5 to get the minifig and the Stingray, basically, and this is just kind of the cheese on top. So a nice $5 polybag from the City Ocean Explorers line. I think there's more value to be had in some of the larger sets. You know, when you get up there closer to the 10 cent per piece and the 8 cent per piece price range, where you get more pieces for your money. But in this case, you know, $5 is how much they're selling the collectible minifigs for. And this guy's pretty decked out, so not quite a collectible minifig just in terms of how many things are going on here, but it's not just a figure in the polybag. You're getting the Stingray and you're getting these pieces. So this is worth $5 for sure, in my opinion, but there's better value to be had because, again, it's only 22 pieces. But we don't buy polybags for pieces. We buy polybags for minifigs and Stingrays. At least that's what I buy polybags for. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time on Brick System Brothers.